Welcome to another episode of me flipping PCs until I buy a house. This PC right here has been flipped for 249 euros and this one right here has been flipped for 308 euros. Decent transaction. Of course, this amount are the gross amount. Profit is still going to be calculated after deducting my expenses. This is exactly how I pay myself selling used stuff on the internet. Desktop PCs, monitors, laptops, pretty much everything you can think of IT related. You might be wondering now, Hardwareflipper, did it actually start like this? Of course not. I was that typical guy. My parents wanted me to be that career guy. So I did everything that I needed to do, to get educated, completed my secondary education in Nigeria back in the days. Thereafter, I went on to obtain a geology degree, but that was not enough. I did proceed to the Technical University of Munich in Germany here, where I went ahead obtained a master's degree. But all along, there was always this thing within me telling me that, look, Hardwareflipper, you have a place in business. There was always this, indicators right from when I was growing up. My mom at the time had a tailoring shop, and one way or the other, I learned to sew. I was supporting her, and we pretty much built a very solid business, back in the days. I'm talking about when I was like maybe 15, 16 years old, and even while studying, I have always been looking for ways, to make money. When I came to Germany here, in fact, it was a struggle between which direction should I go? Should I go all out into business, or should I focus on my studies, be this career guy that my parents wanted me to be? But then I always had something for business. I was actually, fascinated with the fact that you can actually take some things, at the time it was printers. You could take them from point A, bring them to a platform like eBay, clean them up, list them, and sell them for profit. I was fascinated with that, and the kind of excitement I got each time I made a sale just was not explainable. And when I was in the classroom trying to learn one or two things, it was really, really boring for me. But at the end of the day, I did put in my best to ensure that I got my master's degree, because you never know, you never can tell when you will be needing that. But fast forward to today, I pretty much have been selling used computers on the internet from 2013 to pretty much today, and I love what I do. These transactions here have a way of reassuring me that, look, it was a good decision that I made, deciding, to follow my dream. There are a lot of you out there, you have a dream of starting a business, but of course, life is still coming in between. You want to study, you want to get a good job, you want to do all those beautiful things that the society expects from you. See, I want to tell you, if you believe in your dreams and you have gotten the indications that, look, this is a thing that you have to do, let no one give you the permission to go after your dreams. Go after it, give it your best. You are going to be glad you did. So pretty much today, I go around, buying used computers. It doesn't matter where, because this is one question I keep getting all the time. Hardwareflipper, where do you buy these PCs? See, I buy these PCs wherever I see a very good price differential between what was in the market, talking about eBay in this case, and wherever I'm getting PCs being offered for sale. It could be on Facebook Marketplace, it could be on local marketplaces on the internet. I also reach out to organizations, proposing to them that I can actually buy your used IT stuff, I can offer you good money, and in this way I'm able to get good deals and then bring it onto eBay, where everything pretty much goes down. So there's no hard and fast rule of getting this hardware. All you have to do is sometimes you have to get out of your comfort zone, because the problem is a lot of us want these goods to just come to us. They want these monitors, these best laptops. We want them to just physically walk to us, so we can behold them with our hands and say, okay, I'm going to sell them on eBay without putting in any work. The truth is, it doesn't happen like that. Whenever you see a good device, a good hardware, being offered into the market, understand that work has been done in getting these items. Gone are the days where you could sit down and just make a few phone calls and good IT hardware come to you. Sometimes you really have to, reach out. Sometimes you send about 100 emails, you send about 50 emails. You only get one person, telling you yes. But that one yes can pretty much change the game for you. Can change your profit position for the particular month, even for the particular year. And from my experience, every year there is always that one transaction which I call home run, that has a way of changing the game for you. This year, I haven't had that home run, but we still have pretty much a lot of time to do that, and I am confident that that home run I am definitely going to be hitting it. So these pieces have been sold. Buyers pretty much trusted the offers on the internet. They saw it at the seller, in this case, Hardwareflipper, which is myself. I have done my homework in ensuring that these pieces are in the best conditions, no physical damage, no obvious signs of use. They are clean, pretty much what anybody expects if he or she has to pay so much for a decent PC like this. Of course, from my side, I'm not going to be letting the customers down. I am going to be doing my homework, ensuring that the pieces are well packed, which is exactly what I am doing now. Of course, they have been cleaned, they have been well tested, and they're going to be shipped out today so that the buyers in this case can still receive these pieces before the end of the week. Of course, is it an easy job? It's also a question that I tend to receive sometimes. No, is any way far from being easy. Sometimes it's a little bit physical. Sometimes you have to carry these pieces. You have to physically lift them up sometimes. And when I have to pack like 5 or 6 of these in a particular day, I have to do a lot of work in making sure that, look, the pieces are well packed. And sometimes it is what it is. I get a little bit of, shoulder pains here and there, physical pains. But like I always say on this platform, nothing good comes easy. You have to be seen as spending some energy in order to make money. Of course, there's a narrative that if you do not have to do these things yourself, you can actually go ahead and get people to do it. But I kind of enjoy what I do, and I have just realized that, look, if I have to bring somebody in to do all these things at this stage of my life, I'm still very strong, still very young, I still can do this, I am going to be that lazy person. So what that will mean is that somebody's going to go to my shop, which is this warehouse here, and try to do everything while I sit at the balcony, just chilling, taking a look at the wind. I do not want to do that now. As a matter of fact, I still want to push the work as a solo entrepreneur, because I just realized that with the systems and processes I have built, things pretty much work the way I would expect them to work. When the orders come in, I have a way of coming to the warehouse early enough to make sure that the orders are packed. And when the goods come in, which is the inventories, in this case, the laptops, the monitors, I take my time to go through them one after the other, text them to be sure that they are working, do the initial cleaning, not the deep clean, which I just did with these pieces. Here's the initial cleaning, making sure that they are all free from dust. Go ahead to make good photographs, and thereafter go on to list them on a platform like eBay as well as on my website. Of course, AI is also in the picture. Even though I sometimes say I'm a solo entrepreneur, I do a lot of stuff with AI, because in this day and age, it's practically impossible for you to thrive without having AI do some of your processes for you. Of course, I use AI in some of the descriptions I make, in some of the videos I make, in some of the short form content I also make. AI is there. And in the last times, I have actually built a pricing tool completely using AI, and this has pretty much changed the game for me. It changed the way I list my items. It changed the way I even price my items to ensure that I stay competitive, because in this game, competition is real. You see, there are going to be people that have a better deal like you. You are not going to be that seller that's going to have the best price on the internet. Today, I might have the best price. As a matter of fact, the laptop that was sold yesterday for about 400 and something euros, I pretty much had the best price when it came to that particular model, and 2 of that laptop have since sold because the price was just right. On these pieces as well, I also had the best price. I have sold 9 pieces of these pieces, but it doesn't always happen like that. Sometimes I also have to struggle. See, I have to struggle with the competition that is selling a particular PC or laptop or monitor at about 20 euros lesser than the price in which I am offering my items for sale. So it's not all a bed of roses. There are struggles on the way. Competition is real. People are going to come right, left, and center to try to knock your offer off. But what I have noticed on eBay is that sometimes you win some and sometimes you lose some. A long time ago, I used to focus on the competition. I keep getting worried. How am I going to sell this item? How is it going to be that somebody's going to stop by on my shop and actually, click on the buy it now button? At the time, I was focusing on the wrong thing. And as soon as I realized that, I started focusing on delivering, excellent service to my buyers. When somebody comes to my shop now and try to buy a PC, 2 days is the maximum handling time I offer for my PCs, because I understand that time is of the essence. A PC is not the same thing as, I don't know what to liken it now, but when people want to buy a PC, that presupposes that they need a PC for work. Maybe their PC is broken, their laptop is broken, they want to have the item as soon as possible. Understand this, And I began to tap into that. When somebody buys something from my shop, I want to send out the items as soon as possible. And I also understand the fact that people want to have items in the best possible condition. Nobody wants to pay 400 euros and receive an items with, dent, scratches here and there. I have pretty much laid that in, and I said to myself, never again will I have to sell items that can be called shitty items. I want to make sure I bring the best items, be it technically or optically. I want to be known as that buyer that will bring the best items to the market. That I pretty much focused on, and ever since I started doing that, things pretty much change. So focus on the right thing. Focus on customer service. When people write you, do not ignore them. Get to check out what their request is, and if it is something that you can meet, go ahead and meet it. And not only meeting it, make sure you meet it on a timely manner. Of course, like I said, it's not just about the competition. There are also returns in this business. People want to buy your items. Because of one reason or the other, they want to send it back. This is what it is. It used to be a pain point for me many years ago. But once again, when I started focusing on the fact that this is a character of the business, I pretty much overcame that challenge. I no longer get angry when people want to return my items. When people reach out to me and say to me, Hardwareflipper, the item doesn't meet my need, I want to send it back. Please send back the item. I'm going to issue you a full refund of your money. Gone are the days where I used to be very upset. I used to be angry. The only exception to this is when my item gets sent back to me and the item is broken during transportation. Of course, I'm human. I'm going to complain. And most times, I also do it here on the platform. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and be subscribed to the channel. Hit the like button and do not forget to turn on the notification bell if you want to continue seeing similar contents like this. Until I see you again in the next video. Peace.